Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight as we go into week 2 of Blurry. So this week we're going to be talking about underdogs. So everybody likes a good underdog story. We didn't get to have March Madness this year. If you don't know what that is, that's where it's a college basketball championship where 64 teams make a bracket and one team comes out as champion. And my favorite part of March Madness is when the brackets come out is trying to pick the Cinderella, the team that's going to upset some of the top seeds and make a run in it. It's always fun to try to figure out which one it's going to be. Sports gives us a lot of great underdog stories. There's the Miracle on Ice, or one of my favorites when Appalachian State beat Michigan in college football. That was an amazing game. But just those are all amazing, but how cool would it have been to have a ticket to see probably the greatest underdog story ever? And that's kind of what we're going to look at today. So go ahead and turn to Numbers chapter 13. So what we're talking about today and the greatest underdog story is so when the Israelites were being enslaved in Egypt, and they were set free, and Moses is leading them out into the wilderness, and anyways, Pharaoh pursues after him. Him and his entire army take off after him, and so we all kind of know how the story goes. The Israelites end up getting to the Red Sea, and Pharaoh and the Egyptian armies behind them, and anyways, God parts the seas, and the Israelites walk through it, and then when Pharaoh and the Egyptian army tried to go through it, God just lets it all crash back down on them and kills all of them, but preserves and protects the Israelites. So that is an amazing story. It's a great underdog story to think of how far the Israelites come after hundreds of years of being slaves. And so where we pick it up right now is they're going to go scout the promised land, okay? The land that God said that he's given them. He told Moses, hey, I've already given you this land. It's a land of milk and honey. It's their promised land. So anyways, God instructs Moses to send 12 men to go scout it, check it out, see what the land's like, see who's there. You know, what do their cities look like? What does the farmland look like? What does the fruit look like? And so anyways, he sends these 12 guys out, and they come back after a while, and that's where we're going to pick it up, is when they come back to fill Moses and Aaron in on what they saw. So in Numbers chapter 13, verse 26, it says that the men went back to Moses, Aaron, and the entire Israelite community in the wilderness of Paran and Kadesh. They brought back a report for them and the whole community, and they showed them the fruit of the land. They reported to Moses, we went to the land where you sent us. Indeed, it is flowing with milk and honey, and here is some of its fruit. So they come back and they're like, yeah, it's exactly how God said, and this land's amazing. And then in verse 28 they say, however, the people living in the land are strong, and the cities are large and fortified. We also saw the descendants of Anak there. So they come to give the report to Moses, and they're like, man, it's just like God said. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Here's some of the fruit. It's just like God said. But there's these, really strong, big men there. I mean, they kind of scare us. I mean, even after everything God had done, all right, I just kind of filled you in on how he parted the Red Sea and guided them through that. Okay, even after all of that, that was just one thing that God has been doing for them. But even after all of that, everything that God has done, every promise he's kept, they shift their focus from what God can do and what God has done to what they can or what they can't do. They shift their focus from God to themselves. Similar to what we talked about last week with Peter. when he walked on water with Jesus, and then he started to sink. So it's a similar thing. Us too, we can be in the midst of God doing something, and we start to doubt his wisdom and direction. And so that's where they're at, okay? And so they tell him, yeah, the land is great, but man, the guys there scare us. And so we're going to pick it up in verse 30. It says, then Caleb, he was one of the spies that was sent. It says, then Caleb quieted the people in the presence of Moses, and he said, let's go up now and take possession of the land, because we can certainly conquer it. But the men who had gone up with him responded, we can't attack the people because they are stronger than we are. So they're in this, just to kind of give you a sense of it, they're in this like huddle with Moses and Aaron, and the Israelites are all around them, and they're like, hey, this is what we saw. It's awesome. There's some really scary dudes that are stronger than us. And Caleb remembers that God has promised them this land. He remembers what God has done. And Caleb's like, let's go get it. Let's go take it. And they're like, whoa. No, we can't do that. Those people, they're way stronger than us. They're going to kill us. And out of their fear, they give a false report. They say in verse 32, so they gave a negative report to the Israelites about the land that they had scouted. The land we passed through to explore is one that devours its inhabitants, and all the people we saw in it are men of great size. We even saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. To ourselves we seem like grasshoppers, and we must have seemed the same to them. Then the whole community broke into loud cries, and the people wept at night. All the Israelites complained about Moses and Aaron, and the whole community told them, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to die by the sword? Our wives and children will become plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? So they said to one another, let's appoint a leader and go back to Egypt. So as they give this negative report, they turn all of the Israelites kind of against Moses and Aaron and Caleb's report. And they start, how crazy is this? They're saying that we should go back to being slaves. We had it better there. They forget that all the times that God had saved their lives and provided for them. Even in the middle of their constant complaining and doubt, God still was God, and God still provided, protected. He still kept every promise, even in their constant complaining. And they're so scared to obey God. They're so scared because they might lose what they feel like they might lose what they have, and so they're scared to follow him. And they forget that they only have because God has gave. And now he's trying to give again. He's trying to give what he's promised to them, and they've lost focus. Okay? Just to go back to how incredible the Red Sea story that we started off with is. Okay? So, this is how incredible it is. Where they were at, okay? I think sometimes we think that it's like this little river in front of them, and then there's the people behind them. But in reality, they had the Red Sea's large, and so they have water beside them, water in front of them, water beside them, and there's a mountain range behind them. The only way out of this area is now being blocked by the entire Egyptian army. There is nowhere to go. It is certain death. There's nowhere. It's mountains and water all around you, and the only way out is through Pharaoh and his army. There's no escape. There's no retreat. It's impossible. Okay? That was where they were at. That was the predicament that they were actually in. But then God shows up. And God does what only God can do. And he parts the sea. How amazing is this, that in the middle of them having nowhere to turn, nowhere to run, no way to save themselves. They were completely helpless. But God was still God. And because of Moses' obedience, God uses him and he parts the sea, and the Israelites are able to go through it. And then the entire army that was after them is crushed and killed. And yet all of the Israelites are preserved. I mean, that story is so incredible. You would think that they would never doubt God again. But like most of us, when faced with challenges, perspective shifts from God's to our own. And so I ask you, have you lost focus of who God is? Have you lost focus of what God has done? Have you lost focus of what God can do? Maybe you're living in rebellion right now, or maybe you're just doubting God. Maybe you're doubting Him in your situation right now. So I ask you, have you lost focus of who He is and what He's done and what He can do? Maybe you just need to be reminded of who is fighting on your side, and that even if all we see is failure and disaster, man, God can move and be glorified through that too. When we keep God's perspective in mind, that's when our giants in our lives shrink. All right, and so I just leave you with those couple of things. Pray with me. Father God, I just want to thank you for today. God, I thank you for your word. I thank you for your every promise you've kept. God, you're truly incredible. God, I know that there's a lot of situations going on right now that seem helpless and hopeless, and like there's no retreat and there's nowhere to go. God, help us to find peace knowing that you got it. That even though it seems like it's out of our control, you're still in control. And come whatever might happen, God, you're going to be glorified. God, I just want to lift up every single one of those situations. Anybody that's watching this, God, that they can feel your peace and your comfort, knowing that that situation is not bigger than you. And I thank you for that, God. I just ask that you just do what you do in all of our lives, God. I love you. Amen. All right, guys. I will see y'all later. No music again tonight. I'm sorry. But I love y'all. And see you later. Bye.